I first met For King and Country on August 25th, 2011. We went to a baseball game. It was my birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Fast forward to right here, right now, For King and Country's new movie, Unsung Hero, in theaters now. Along with hearing songs from their new soundtrack to the movie Unsung Hero, my guest is Joel Smallbone.
What else with Corey, man? This guy can podcast like nobody can. What else with Corey, man? You will look deep inside of yourself and feel something you've never felt when he asks what else with Corey, man.
My friend, how numb are you right now?
I got a little less numb knowing that I was talking to you because I've been talking to a lot of people that I don't really know. And so, I'm here, there, and everywhere, right? I've never done this thing before, so I don't actually really know. So maybe that quantifies as numbness. I don't actually know what. I know, you know what, man? I'm feeling it all, Corey. Honestly, I'm feeling it about everything you can think you're feeling, that you could feel. I'm feeling it right now.
What do you think floats to the top the most? Is it the level of excitement? Is it exhaustion? You are everywhere in America all at once.
Well, thank God that you feel that. Man, I feel excited. Like, you know us, our MO has always been from the first day we met on the baseball field has been, or the baseball game, has been to, like, just leave it all on the field, to use a baseball metaphor. I really believe we've done that. And the kind of the proverb that I've pulled for this whole process and project has been, we make our plans, but God orders our steps. And now there's this freedom, man, of just going like, all right, God, we've made plans, man. We shared about this story from the beginning of the band, you know, from stage as sort of a pay it forward child advocacy moment. For every day for the last 4 years, we've sort of dreamt and bled for this project. And there's that weird moment that now happens, which is different from music, as you know, where with music you have years to release a project, but with a movie, it all comes down to this weekend. Like you work, and then you literally, feels like a campaign. Like you just literally sit back and watch the votes come in and see if people go, hey, we believe that mums need to be in the theater. We believe that family needs to be on the screen.
The wind is moving, but I am standing still. A life of pages waiting to be filled. A heart that's hopeful, a head that's full of dreams. But this becoming is harder than it seems. Feels like I'm looking for a reason, roaming through the night to find my place in this world. My place in this world. Not a lot to lean on. I need your light to help me find my place in this world. My place in this world.
For someone who may just be visiting the planet and hasn't gotten on social media and realizes that there is a new movie called Unsung Hero opening in theaters today, which came first, the song or the movie idea?
Yeah, well, and by way of that, we have kind of just jumped in because we know each other so well, haven't we? But you who are listening and scratching your head right now know what we're talking about. The film chronicles, it's a 90s film, really focuses around mums and miracles in music, but it follows a family with an unsung hero of a mum and their dad, who was a concert promoter in Australia, bring American artists down there, lost what would be the equivalent of $500,000 on a tour that went poorly, got offered a job in the States, and brought his wife, who was 6 months pregnant, 6 kids, 16 suitcases, to Nashville, Tennessee, only to lose that job and with no way of getting back to Australia, with no car, with no furniture, with no insurance. They banded together, they raked leaves, they mowed lawns, they sat in a circle in their furnitureless living room and prayed for everything. And through the local community, the local church just saw miracles take place. And the elder sister, Rebecca St. James, kind of rose out of that time. And it's ultimately it's our parents' story, and Luke produced it. I co-wrote it, co-directed it with Richard Ramsey, and I play our dad in the film, which I've told you before, Corey. It's a very expensive therapy session. But, man, it's just been filled with miracles on both sides of the camera. And even the title's one of them because, to your question, we wrote the song as part of our fourth studio album, What Are We Waiting For? We were simultaneously working on this untitled movie. And literally, Corey, one day, like a lightning bolt, I was on a call with the producing team, and I was like, guys, we have a song called Unsung Hero. This film circles around a woman who's an unsung hero. Why don't we put these two together? And, we haven't looked back since.
Across the street, the river runs down in the gutter. Life is slipping away. Let me still exist in another place, running under cover of a helicopter blade. The flames are getting higher in effigy, burning down the bridges of my memory. Love may still be alive somewhere, some way, where the down and only dear 100 steel towns away. Oh, the rhythm of my heart is beating like a drum, with the words I love you rolling off my tongue. Oh, never will I roam. Now I know my place is home, where the ocean meets the sky. I'll be sailing.
I have had the privilege and pleasure of knowing you and your brother and your father. When I get to talk to your dad, it's basically 30 minutes of he talks and I just listen. He is a dynamo. How was it playing your dad? Because you've had a front row seat your entire life playing this character that you know the ins and outs. What truly was that like?
Well, it's interesting, man. I don't know if I told you this, but I didn't plan on co-directing, co-writing. That actually just came out of sort of necessity. And look, you know this. When you're a musician, you're all things to all people all the time. You're the writer, you're the performer, you're the marketing guy, you're the producer, you're all of it. And so it actually felt very natural. But I did, from the beginning, from when Luke first came up with the idea, I did say to him, man, I want to play Dad. And part of it was because of what you just said. I know the guy. I've spent the better part of 40 years with him. And so I know all the ins and outs of who he is. And that's part of what, if you can create a short bridge between reality and the screen, it does breed authenticity. It was so eye-opening at the same time. I say I know everything about him, but I was a child when we moved. And so I experienced it like a child. And so to be roughly his age now, as he was when he moved, and to drop into his psychology, his fear, his compounding failure, his shame, his pride, his love for mom, his love for God, his love for his family. To drop into that was the empathy I feel for him, Corey, is it's otherworldly,
Shoulder to the wheel for someone else's selfish gain. Here there is no choosing, working the clay, wearing the anger like a ball and chain. Fire in the field, underneath the blazing sun. But soon the sun was faded, freedom was a song. I heard them singing when the day was done, singing to the Holy One. Lead me on to a place where the river runs into your keeping. Oh, lead me on, the way to deliverance comforts the seeking. Lead on.
Joel, I get to see the movie with a theater full of fans on Sunday afternoon, so I have not yet seen it yet. I'm sure you've seen it a million times. Is there anything hard for you to watch in this movie?
It's a weird thing when you get so out of your own body, Corey, because being a musician and performing on stage is all about embodiment, right? It's about embodying yourself and your own story. Being in front of a camera is about embodying someone else's story. You actually start, like, to the point of even in the edit, I would never refer to myself as myself. I'd refer to the character as David, you know? At face value, it looks really self-aggrandizing. Like, there'll be a real emotional scene with David, and, like, I'll start crying. But on paper, I'm crying at myself on screen. But I'm not. I'm crying at Dad in this pivotal moment when he's wrecked and he's done something or said something to his 15-year-old daughter, Rebecca, that he needs to apologize for, and he's crying. I'm crying as a brother to Rebecca. I'm crying as a son to Dad. I'm crying in a whole different way. So at face value, it looks one of the producers looked over at me and was like, "Are you crying at yourself?" And I was like, "Look, you got to understand, man. This is the definition of close to home for me. And so you got to call me. You got to call me when you watch it, or send me a memo or something, because I'd be really fascinated to hear your take on it, knowing the family so well."
A man decides after 70 years that what he goes there for is to unlock the door, while those around him criticize and sleep. And through the fact along the breaking wall, I see you, my friend, and touch your face again. Miracles will happen as we speak. But we're never gonna survive unless we get a little crazy. No, we're never gonna survive unless we are a little crazy.
I've been watching from the sidelines since day one, and you've never done anything 50%, 75%. It's always gas pedal to the floor. Even in your music videos, there's a dramatic element. Your shows, there's a dramatic element. I've always wondered this. I've never asked you this. If music wasn't a thing, do you think acting would be the pursuit?
I've not told many people this, but when we were sort of a fledgling duo, and had gotten told no by almost every major label in America, I quote-unquote moved to LA for a year. I think I only slept there for 14 nights out of the year because simultaneously the moving for King Country started taking off. But man, the short answer is yes. I actually loved movies in many ways, simultaneously or even before I loved music. And I love the weaving in between the two. I feel like you don't have to make a choice. I feel like, take this film, for example, like you got Michael W. Smith and Amy Grant and Stryper and Jesus Jones and Lenny Kravitz and Seal and Rod Stewart sort of tucked away in this movie. And we've done inspired by a soundtrack with more features than we've ever done on it. And so you can kind of have your sort of cake and eat it. But yeah, I think they're my two great loves are movies and music. And what's been really cool about this, though, Corey, is just to get out of your own way a little bit, like, and to see other people like DJ Tanner from Full House or Candace Cameron Bure come on board, or John Locke from Lost play our granddad, Terry O'Quinn, or Lucas Black from 42 and Fast and Furious play a real-to-life character. Like, and then Lionsgate, man, Lionsgate's putting it on 2,800 screens this weekend. Like, to see them go, hey, we're going to put this across the nation. It's just been cool to see people rise up and it become something other than just Joel and Luke with the King Country. There's a bigger story going on here. And it's the story of families. It's the story of mums. So much so that we've dubbed Friday Family Day. You know, you got Mother's Day in a few weeks and Father's Day in a few months. It's like, let's have a good family day at the theaters on the 26th.
Well, let me end with a statement. Debbie Sigsbee said yes to Corey Mann in April of 1994. That's a 90s story right there for you. You know this, but you also need to know this once more. 2 children have blessed our life, 27-year-old and a 17-year-old. And the 17-year-old said to me 2 weeks ago, are we going to go see the boys again this summer? And he's talking about one of his favorite bands, a band that I love at 54. a band that he loves at 17. My wife adores you. The Mann family cheers for you so loud. I'm so proud of you. What Are We Waiting For has re-inspired me in a lot of ways. That's another conversation for another time. I love you, pal, and I want you to have the best weekend.
Thank you, buddy. I'm a little emo hearing that, and that maybe goes back to the beginning of our conversation, in that you just raw. You know, you're feeling everything right now, and so appreciate you. The marketing people kill me if I didn't say unsunghero.movie to get your tickets this weekend, and let's stay connected in all this. I'm proud to be in it with you.
My work here is done. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. See you soon.
What Else with Corey Mann, with your host, Corey Mann. Original music and theme song by Chris Cron. Share this episode with a friend, and thanks for listening.